communication is very, very, very important. It doesn't matter if you're a computer engineer. What I often find in the workforce is people who can think hard, but they cannot communicate what they're thinking about. Whereas real life is full of situations where you'll have to convince people, persuade people, and for that you have to communicate well. And the example I always give is the boss will ask you to come present for 30 minutes. Fine. So you sit all night, prepare this presentation for 30 minutes. Then the big day comes, the meeting comes, and the boss is 20 minutes late. Okay, now your 30 minutes just became 10 minutes. Are you going to go through the 30 minutes presentation again? No, you shouldn't, right? So in an instant, you should be able to switch and adapt to the situation and communicate powerfully. And those skills are not part of curriculum, but they should be prominent on your minds as you emerge from your graduation.
Good points, right? So I just noted critical thinking, curiosity for information, communicate well, and the last point really, which you didn't say but you just said, is adapt to whatever happens in terms of the
That's Charles Darwin told us. People always say survival of the fittest. Actually, that's not what Darwin said. What Darwin said was those who adapt survive.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks very much. I mean, that's a very good, and in fact, I must say that those are some concepts which you think current generation should get, which is learn to think and learn to adapt, right? Very important skills. The next thing that I want to check with you is, and again, this is related again to the same question, is will the nature of jobs change, and what kind of jobs do you think will become more prevalent? So, India has ridden the IT, and so now obviously the nature of job will change. Well, the basic principles of your ability to work, think, solve, etc. has to be there. What kind of jobs do you think will kind of emerge, or will it just be the same job, different kind of rigor? What's your thinking?
Let me take a crack at it, and then maybe you can jump in as well. So, when the Industrial Revolution, again going back 200 years, happened, you didn't lose jobs, but there was great churn and turnover. The content of your job changed completely. You went from somebody who picked up a shovel and moved material to operating the thing that moves the material, right? And it required a different level of skilling. And I don't want to underplay the amount of social turmoil this creates, because people who are used to doing something for 10, 15, 20 years, all their career, just suddenly have to change. So in similar fashion, what you're going to see in the coming years is a tremendous amount of change in the content of the job. Okay, but there'll be other social upheavals as well. One of the things that the Industrial Revolution gave us was a great deal of urbanization. People who lived in the middle of nowhere had to come to these places where there were factories. Okay? Now, with the Information Revolution, I think you're going to have a bit of the opposite. You don't have to come to any place, so there could be a de-urbanization of it forward, right? And this to me is a very powerful concept, because there's a tremendous amount of urbanization that's been going on in India. There's probably a great deal that's happened in China that we don't even know about.
Yes.
Right? And that brought about wrenching social change. And so this gives an opportunity for some of that to go in a different direction. But I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I think I'd like to touch upon a point that he talked about, adaptability, and I think that is really key. To a large extent, when I see Prabhakar and I say, how has he been so successful? He didn't start out doing what he was doing now. He started out doing probabilistic theory and algorithms, which today, if you look, it's a textbook thing. Like, you can read about it, right? There's nothing new. Maybe there is something new, but it's definitely come a long way already. So the thing that I'm trying to convey is that you have to be willing to adapt. You have to be willing to learn all the time. It is not just learning what a job is and doing it from 9 to 5. It's really using your time at work to build yourself, grow yourself as a person, to be curious about things and keep your mind active at all times, so that you're growing in a way that you are ready for any change that comes along.
And whether or not any change comes along, I think every one of you should try and switch careers 3 or 4 times. If I look around this room, your life expectancy is over 100 years. Okay, and if you're 20 years, that means you probably have a career of 60 years. During that 60 years, you probably should zigzag 3 or 4 times, and that's totally okay. Right? You don't have to stick to one road because you know what, that road may end.
Wow, that's a wonderful.
Challenge yourself and sow the seeds for the future. That's what I would say. Challenge yourself. Don't just sit back and say, I know what I'm doing. I can do this in my sleep. I understand this like it's the back of my hand. Try to do something new every day to learn and to grow, and at the same time, like he says, change so that really automatically challenges you. You don't have to go looking for a challenge. You switch jobs, you switch your line of work or a different project or a different product. You'll definitely learn something and challenge yourself.
Pretty cool. So I'll take a line on that. If you can do something in your sleep, you should probably sleep. And do something else the next day.
I agree. Good effort.
So just very nice thoughts, right? One is that jobs come to you. So you should look at jobs that can come to you, which is work remotely. Second, accept and adapt. Change. Third is, build yourself as a person. I think that's a very nice point that you made. And the last point is very nice. Switch 3 to 4 careers. I must say I have. You have. So I think it's a great input, right? Switch careers. In fact, I remember 10 years back, I was talking to my friends, at the age of 50, you start to think about these things. Now you got to start thinking at the age of 25 or 30, correct? So at the age of 50, I was asking what to do. He said, get a second career. And I'm mighty pleased that this is my third career and I'm married. But I think it's an important lesson. Look at careers, be flexible. Ultimately, you're building ourselves as an individual, right? So it's important.
So I want to pick on one other line. He said, don't worry about the 9 to 5. So there's an interesting concept that we keep talking about. There are similar numbers: 996, 965, 965.25. That was a bit okay. So not that we have to imitate Silicon Valley, but you guys are up close or so there. So I will ask that question. The perception here is, the guys there get an idea, work on it when there's no problem, right? So don't rush until it's done. There's a certain character and intensity that comes into play, right? So we call it 996. So morning 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, that is the official count, but who knows what else is happening while they're eating a pizza, right? So it's not working. So the other one is the 965. So at least in the corporate world, people keep those 40 hours, etc. But the academics hasn't been as intense in India, okay? So I want you to share a few of your observations and your opinion about that intensity. Why does it matter? What kind of a competitive advantage that can bring to a certain environment? Let me hear from both of you.
So there's two sides to a coin here. One is working very hard and pursuing your passion will get you good results, in the sense that even if your project fails, you would have learned something, and that is something really valuable. The flip side, of course, you don't want to get burnt out, so you do have to have balance, which is what I talked about a little bit earlier. But there are many ways in which working hard and working smart is good, because first of all, you are able to reach a level of success and you've given it all, and so you built yourself as a person, like I talked before. You have the confidence that you can do it, you know how to attack these problems. Yes, you failed, but you at least learn something so that the next time you go and you are able to succeed. And the other thing is you build yourself a moat, because the others don't work as hard, which means you're moving faster than everybody else. So if you all started at the same time, you're moving at a faster pace, so you're leaving these other people behind because you're passionate about what you're doing, you're giving it that energy and effort, and you're using your curiosity and adaptability to change course to get to where you really need to go. Of course, you may not know exactly where you're going, but if you meander a little bit here and there and you adjust the way you work and what you work on and what your goals are, depending on the situation, you will get to a good place. So,
I just want to pick up on the theme of balance. One of the things, especially later in my career, I became more conscious of is to manage stress. Most recently, I managed about 30,000 people in corporations. spread all over the world. If not some unhappy employees, it was an unhappy prime minister or ambassador from some country who was angry at me. And all of that just accumulates stress. And so one of the things you have to do as you get immersed in your work, and you said pursuing your passion, all of that is good, is you have to take care of yourself. And when you're younger, it doesn't seem important, but I think it's better to start young. So for me, one of the real stress busters happens to be exercise and sport. So I work out or play a sport every day of the week, at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. And sometimes I will interrupt my work to do that, and then build up on the work again. So finding that balance where your mind gets a little outlet is important. I also have a rule to myself. For at least 30 or 45 minutes before I go to sleep every night, I will not touch any devices. I will read, book, I may listen to music. But there's a lot of science that says constantly attending to your device is not the most efficient thing, even for the work that you're doing on the device. So sometimes it's good to put it away and lock yourself out of it. So I know that we live in an age where you're measured by how many messages you're getting every minute, but you should have that habit of losing it from time to time. And that's just gives you time to reflect and settle and contemplate the totality of what you're doing.
That's wonderful. I just want to summarize because it's very, very valuable inputs, right? One is hard work builds you as a person. Think of it that way. That's first. The second thing is that you build a competitive advantage because you're that much willing to work harder. Third is the third point, which is actually very important, and I think that is something that we want to bring in as a culture here is balance things, play, keep away from the device. I must follow that. I don't know how good I'll be at it, but I promise you I'll try.
It's even as simple as when I'm working out, I'm watching an IPL game or something just to sort of lose myself. Otherwise, working out is a big bore. So
Yes.
It's a good time to be watching a tennis match or cricket or something.
Just one last question, and I think I guess I know the answer for it because you already explained it differently. But you had an amazingly illustrious career, the both of you. If you were to start afresh today, do you think you're better off now or worse off now? And if you're better off, in what way do you think you're better off? And I'm just saying it because I think a lot of kids here want to look at what are the triggers for them to be inspired about what they do with their lives.
I almost feel like I'm ready for a second career.
That's how you should be.
Yeah. When I decided that I wanted to give back and do something in the non-profit field, after I finished my tenure at Facebook, it was COVID time. I joined this non-profit. There was so much to learn. The non-profit world works so differently from anything else, and serving the community that our non-profit serves was very interesting to me. It's a very local, small organization. But having been there for 3 years now, I feel like I know it at the back of my hand. So I'm like, okay, I should be doing something differently. So I started playing with Claude, and I am excited about doing something back in the tech field again. Not necessarily for profit, but definitely to grow as a person and to maybe help others understand it better, figure out how to leverage these technologies and research and science in their own fields, whatever it is, whether they are in non-profits, whether they are still a student, whether in the medical field, how do they navigate this space? Not that I'm an expert at AI by any means, but definitely I have the time to think about it.
So, one thing I try to do as I go through these career zigzags is to take stock of what has served me well. So, for instance, as Srilata said, I was trained as a mathematician. My PhD was in probability, applied probability. But then one day I decided to do this manager thing, became this large large company executive, and people ask me, what do these things have in common? You're an individual scientist writing papers and books, and now you're managing thousands of people. And I think there's similarities and there's differences. When you're the individual, you're doing things for your own glory. When you're a large team leader, it's for the team's success that you're doing what you're doing. But then there's commonalities. The biggest commonality I would say in both these sub-careers I've enjoyed is what matters is not knowing all the answers. What matters is to know how to ask the right questions. Okay? And that's true whether you're a scientist, because if you ask too easy a question, it's already been solved. If it's too hard a question, then you're not going to solve it. Okay? Same thing as an executive. Your goal is not to have the answers. You have many people who are finding the answers. Your goal is to point them in the right direction, to ask the right questions. And so, as I took stock of these commonalities, the ability to ask the right questions, the ability to take a complex problem. I was just telling people earlier, an example of a complex problem I would deal with is the Ukrainian ambassador calling and asking, why are you drawing the boundary between Russia and Ukraine here and not here? What do I know? I'm a computer scientist, right? But then you start to abstract these things out very clearly, and the clean abstraction saying, okay, here is the root of the problem. There are two sides to this debate, and you have to come down on one side or the other or form a third course, right? That's a very simple formulation, right? Now, how you decide which of these to go is up to your value system, your principles and policies. But at least this is a problem you've seen before. It's a problem of simple choice, right? And it doesn't matter if it's, Ukraine and Russia, or whether, similar question comes up with some islands that are off the coast of Japan. When you draw Google Maps, do you put the Chinese name first and then the Japanese name, or the other way around? Whichever one you do, one of the two governments is going to be very upset. So there's an answer to these questions. And one of the things you learn after a while is, okay, this is a pattern I've seen before, and this is how I solved it before. So that power of abstraction is something you should keep building through your career. Then it doesn't matter whether you're a chemical engineer or an AI person or the person that the ambassador calls with their angry.
In fact, Prabhakar, I have seen some of these maps on both sides of the things, and I know exactly how you guys solve that problem. Yeah.
No, I think, thanks very much. I think there's some good points here. I just want to bring up, just to reiterate some points. One of the things you said is ask the right questions. I think it's very good advice to anyone who wants to be a good student, ask the right questions. One of the things that we don't do a great job of in India is we don't ask questions. We accept. We have an inherent command hierarchy.
It's an Asian mentality. I've lectured all over the world. And it's very hard when you're lecturing in Asia to get people to challenge you and ask questions. Whereas in America, you guys have seen it, the student is up there with their feet on the table. It's like, I'm paying for this. Impress me, professor.
Oh my God, just the thought of it. So I think that's a very interesting, and the other point that you mentioned is take stock of what serves you well, which is assess yourself. I think very good inputs altogether. So really want to thank you for these very quick nuggets. I am deeply conscious of the time, and Raju got up.
Okay, thank you.
So the moment Raju gets up, it's over.
In the interest of time, we'll close this.
Thank you so much.
But not without a guarantee from you that you'll come here again and do this again with a little bit of more time. So with what we have seen in the last few minutes, I think I enjoyed this conversation. So I'm sure you guys all have. So one big